everybody, and welcome back to a new video on my channel. This is my first video in my 2024 complete reset series. I'm going to have 5 videos coming out over the course of the next week or so that are going to be covering every single little detail about my 2024 reset, so you guys have seen it all. I also do realize it's already halfway through January, but let's be real, like, I do not have the motivation to do anything between the week of Christmas and New Year, so here we are. Also, hi, if you're new here, my name is Zoe, I'm 23, I live in the New York City area, and I recently graduated from college back in May of this year, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my life and get used to that post-grad lifestyle. So if that sounds interesting to you, then make sure to like and subscribe for more of my content. Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but 2024 like literally never existed in my mind. Like, when I graduated from high school in 2019, the fact that 2020 came next was crazy because my whole life it was like, okay, I'm graduating high school in 2019. And then I went to college and I was like, okay, I'm the class of 2023, that's reasonable. So 2023 is when the world ends, and apparently it hasn't ended. Thank goodness. I'm very glad that it has not ended. But it's just very strange because I am such a planner and I always know what's coming next, and I had no idea right now like what's gonna happen in my life this year. So we'll see. So because of that, I just feel like I'm at this like weird point where so many different things can happen. I like want to go with the flow, but I also want to take control of my life, if that makes sense. And it's kind of overwhelming, but it's also exciting. Like the fact that I just have like this blank slate of life and I can do whatever I want with it. So on that note, my 2024 word of the year is develop. And the reason that I picked this word is honestly, I was thinking about how you develop photos, like the way that a Polaroid might develop photos, or you actually have to take, you know, like the film and develop it. And it's like for a minute, it's all like blurry. Like you don't really know what it's going to turn out to be, if it's going to look as good as you hoped when you took the picture or not. And you kind of have to like sit there and just wait and see what happens. And I feel like this year for me is just a year when I just want to develop. Like I want to figure out where I'm putting those lines, like what my boundaries in life are, what's really important to me, like how I want to build myself up, all of those kinds of things. I really just think are what's going to happen this year. And I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how the next few years of my life are going to go. But I also want to remember that I am in control of the way that I develop it. It's like those are the decisions that I'm gonna make to bring me to whoever I decide I want to be. Okay, so now we're done being all philosophical and deep about my word. We're gonna jump into how I actually completed my new goal reset for 2024. So the first and most important thing I think you can do when you're starting off a year and setting new goals is reviewing the previous year, what went right, what went wrong, what you want to change, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that right now. I'm gonna start by walking you through my 2023 items. So I did this reflection last year. We're gonna skip over that for now. We'll come back to it. And here are my goals. So I had, and I'm doing it the same way this year, is I basically took a whole bunch of goals and I put them into categories. So my categories last year for my goals were understand my body better, start a productivity business, graduate from university, backpack Europe, move out, invest money and make financial goals, and keep my health a priority. So basically, I took everything that I wanted to do this past year, and I put it into one of those categories. So if I click into any of these, we can see the tasks that I laid out for myself and my motivation behind why this goal was important to me. So I basically then took those goals, broke them down into little tiny parts, and then categorized those parts based on the quarter that I wanted to achieve them in. The first goal of mine last year was to understand my body better. I did not do this very well. I have a lot of reasons why I wanted to look into this. I am interested just in learning more about hormones and your food and your health and your gut, and all of that kind of stuff is something that's really interesting to me. I also have PCOS, so I feel like it's an important aspect of having that, is just being able to understand your body and naturally try to fix whatever's not working. I didn't accomplish this last year, but that's okay. I have actually moved it over to this year because it is still a priority of mine. It's just something that I didn't get around to last year. That was definitely my worst goal in terms of completion, but that happens. Sometimes you don't get to everything. My next goal from this past year was to start a productivity business, and while I didn't do this in the way that I originally anticipated doing it, I feel like I did actually accomplish this goal because if you don't know, I actually have a Notion template that I now sell on my Etsy page. It's always linked down below. It's $5. I highly recommend trying it out or watching any of my budgeting videos if you want to learn more about that. Anyway, so I did that, and so because of that, I'm kind of giving myself a yes on that. Also, I kind of put my content creation under the same umbrella, and I am so happy with the progress that has come this year, especially my little baby YouTube channel. I think I have like 900 subscribers at the time of filming this, and I started the year off with like 200. So that is really exciting to me. I'm so happy to have you all here. So overall, I would say success on this one too, even though there's not many boxes checked. My next one was graduate from university. I knew this was gonna happen. Like, it's not like I didn't know, but there were aspects of it that I wanted to make sure that I was doing this year. And so that was more the reason why I had this here. So I had a few goals that I wanted to do before I finished out the year. And I did both of those, which was very exciting. And I graduated. And I think that that's a big deal. And I wanted to give myself credit for it when it was time, even if I knew it was going to happen, because why not? It's like whenever you've already done something and you like check it off. Like you write it down and then check it off just because you like the serotonin. The next goal of mine was to backpack Europe. And if you watched any of the previous videos on my channel recently, you know that I did actually do that. I didn't know if that was gonna happen at the start of this year. Like I was very up and down about it. I was like, I don't know if I have enough money. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Like some things came up where I wasn't gonna be able to do it with the people that I had originally hoped to do it with, and I was like, am I gonna do this by myself? Like, what's gonna happen? And I was like, no, this is something that I really, really wanna do, and I did it. I honestly think this is probably the goal that I'm most proud of from this past year. My next goal was another one that I knew was going to happen because I accepted my job back in 2022, so I knew that I was gonna move out and where I was gonna move and all of this stuff, but there was still a lot of things that I wanted to do with that. And obviously, even with moving out, especially when you move out for the first time, like it takes a while to get everything that you need to like feel like you're at home in your apartment or your condo, wherever you're living. And so I had a lot of goals more to do with that. My next goal was to invest money and make financial goals, and I definitely did this year. I feel like I have learned so much about money. I haven't necessarily invested in, I think, the sense I had originally thought when I made this goal, but again, like your goals change and develop with you, so I think that that's totally fair. I did open a 401k. I did make a new personal finance tracker. I have actually created a specific savings goal. I haven't even updated this. I did not invest in stocks, did not open a Roth IRA. I think that those are some things that I am going to try to do this year. I don't know about the Roth IRA. I have more research that I need to do there. And I also just feel like I'm a lot more aware of my finances, and I'm really happy with the place that they're in. I didn't even know what a high yield savings account was when I made this goal, but I did open a high yield savings account, so that was also part of this. Okay, and my last goal is to keep my health a priority. Last year I kind of took this as my mental health and also my physical health. I think going into 2023 I was in a really good spot in terms of working out on a regular basis. To me, ballet is always going to be really important, and so I always include that. Ways that I can become a better dancer is just, even if I'm just doing it recreationally, like I want to be good at it. And then of course one of my other goals was to read 25 books. I put that in that category, and I did that. I read 26. A reading wrap up is coming soon. So that was all of my 2023 goals. So now I want to turn over to my 2024 reset page. And as you can see, my word of the year, which we already went over, develop. I did a little brainstorming before I ever put anything on this like set like pretty or anything. I just literally brain dumped every single thought that I had about the new year. And then I took my reflection questions that I had last year and I transferred them over to this page. So you can see the questions here. So if you would like to reflect on any of these questions, you can. They just help you to kind of find your priorities for the new year, things that you are happy with in the past year, really giving time to give yourself credit for the things that you accomplished this past year, but also allowing yourself some constructive criticism a little bit of constructive criticism is healthy. A lot of it, it's not constructive anymore, and you're gonna make yourself feel bad about yourself. So don't go too far with that. But a little bit is good, and it teaches you what you want to be better at, and that's perfectly healthy. And then I also have a list of questions here for looking forward to 2024, making you think about things that you would like to bring into your life and that sort of thing. Then I have my reset checklist, which I am slowly making my way through. It doesn't have to be all at once. I'm trying to film lots of videos right now for this challenge, and it is a challenge. It's hard to just kind of do a 180 on your life and to have the time to do that. So just give yourself grace. Now hopping into my 2024 goals. So like I said, I set this up the same way as I did last year. I personally really like this method because I feel like by categorizing my goals into a few specific items, it doesn't feel as overwhelming. Like, I have 5 goals for this year. That's it. However, with those goals, there's a lot of more specific tasks that I do want to accomplish within them. Having specific tasks that you categorize by a certain time of the year also kind of eliminates some of the overwhelmingness of it being the new year. I think that a lot of people don't like New Year's resolutions, and I think that that is totally valid, because I think that the mindset around a lot of people with New Year's resolutions is on the 1st of January, you are completely changing everything that you're doing right now, and that is just not gonna happen, you know? Like, maybe you'll have the energy to do that for a day or two, but you're not in the habit of it, and you can't just like bring in a million habits all at once. That's just like not gonna work. So the reason I do this is I like the new year, and I treat the new year as a time to realign my priorities. So I have these 5 goals, but a lot of my New Year's resolutions are things that I may not even get to until August, September, October, the end of the year. I know a lot of people really like SMART goals or STAR goals, the like achievable, like very specific items. For me personally, I don't feel like these items I have here are probably all going to be lifelong goals of mine. Like, I don't see them changing, but I do think that the actual specific tasks that I want to complete in a year, those are going to change. So I'm not necessarily meeting my goals as much as completing this list of tasks that I've set myself for the year. This is just the way that my brain works and what works for me and my motivation. I think that everybody can be different, but here's just a different aspect, because I don't see many people doing it the similar way that I do it. So the first one, keep my health a priority. I think that I had that one in 2023 as well. Like I said, I did want to get better about like understanding my body and kind of gut health and stomach health and just overall health and the food that you're eating, and calories and the way that that translates into energy, but also like proteins and these different food groups and macros. So I just want to learn more about that. I'm not planning on really making any major changes to my diet, but I do think that it is important to know that kind of stuff and to understand what you're putting into your body and the way that your body is affected by it. That is one of my primary tasks for this, and so I split this up into much more manageable tasks. So I have research best recipes for PCOS that I'm going to do in the first quarter, research PCOS diets in the first quarter, incorporate 3 new recipes in the second and third quarter. Like, both of these are super manageable. I also have in here that I need to find doctors and dentists and eye doctors, because I haven't done that yet since moving, and I desperately need to do that because all of those times of like when my annual ones normally are have been and gone. So my next goal is to improve my relationships. I do feel like since college ended that it's a lot harder to do this. And I have some ideas on what I want to do to improve my relationships going forward. And there are 2 main things. First of all, I want to write a letter to somebody every single month. I don't really know who that's going to be yet, but I just want to write a letter to someone, a relative maybe, a friend, who knows. I'll figure it out as I go along, but that is one of my main priorities. And then my second one is I am notorious for taking days to reply to texts. And I have no idea why I do this, because I love talking to my friends. Like, I want to talk to my friends. And I just don't like texting. So one of my things for this year is that I want to reply to text messages on a daily basis. I don't want to have any text messages when I go to bed. Next is another money item. So I want to grow in my financial decisions and understanding. I basically just want to understand money better, my relationship with money better, and just continue to figure out how to play the game. To be honest, money is not the most important thing to me by any means, but I will say that I think it makes your life easier. And I don't think many people would disagree with me there. So it is something that I want to learn about more. So on here I have like open Roth IRA, lower my rent, open an investment account, all of those types of things. Again, some of these are things that, like, the lower the rent is like a questionable one for me. It depends on like other people in my life and who I wind up living with in the future, and lots of different things like that. So these are still just some basic goals. Next is be a continuous learner. I love school. I've always loved school. The fact that I'm not in school anymore has been lovely and great for my stress levels, but like I hunger for it. Like I love to learn. And so part of the things I want to do this year is just be a continuous learner. And some of the things I'm including in that is reading books, but I want to read several nonfiction books. I also am listening to a Bible in the Year podcast, so I want to read the whole Bible this year. I am Catholic. But I've never read the Bible. I don't think it's as common for Catholics to read the Bible as it is in some other Christian denominations, and I do think that it's important to just understand where certain teachings and practices and stuff come from. And then yeah, I want to read 5 nonfiction books, and I'm reading 30 books this year. It's happening. I wonder if I can count the Bible. I wonder if I can count all the books of the Bible. Then my last goal is I really just want to grow my content creation. So last time I had that productivity business idea, but I'm kind of throwing everything into this category now. I think the content creation is something that I am more passionate about, and maybe the productivity stuff, I still want to do that, but I think it's just going to have to be something in the future, because right now I'm really loving this and this community, and yeah, so here are the breakdown of that. My main goal for this year is I want to monetize my YouTube channel. I think where I'm going to struggle to do that is with watch hours, and that just means that I just need to be consistent with uploads and really learning maybe more about SEO and that kind of thing. So more things will probably go into this as the year goes on. I want to do a full like breakdown of my goals for my channel, but that is kind of a separate thing in general that I just need to like sit down and do at some point. So maybe I'll add that as a goal. Create a business plan. You can see all of my goals here. Whenever I do any monthly reset, I will basically filter by the current quarter, and then I can see all of my goal breakdown in there, and then I will take those goals, these tasks, and break them down into weekly tasks so they're even smaller and even more manageable. And I'm also constantly looking back every single month at these goals, and maybe even every single day, every single week. I can see what my priorities are, and hopefully that will give me the means to achieve them. So something new that I'm trying this year, I've actually never made a vision board before. I know lots of people do it. It's just not something that I've ever felt super motivated to do. So I thought that would be something fun for me to try this year, and then at the end of the year I can tell you guys my thoughts on it. If it helped me, if it didn't do anything, who knows? I just want to try it out. So I'm gonna sit and do that right now. To start off with, I went through on Pinterest and I basically just searched for all of my goals, like some images that go with each one of my goals, and put those all in a Pinterest board. I've also gone in on Canva and just made a like template the size of my iPad screen, because I plan on making this a screensaver on there, and I think I'll also make it a screensaver on my computer. So I'm literally just gonna go back and forth between Pinterest and this, and just add in the elements that really resonate with me. The whole point of doing a vision board, if I understand it correctly, is so that you have a visual of what your life could look like at the end of the year. So essentially you want to take the goals that you've already set for yourself and then find images that correlate to those goals so that you can visualize them on a regular basis. So let's just do it. I'm also adding some visuals of some like trips that I hope to go on. I didn't really specify those in my goals, but I do have a couple of like plans with my family that I'm pretty sure are gonna happen, so I'm gonna put those on there. I found some cool images of like Polaroid cameras that I'm quite excited about, because I think that that goes really well with what my word for this year is. I definitely am also trying to find some nice quotes to go along with it. Hey, you know what, you guys? I'm actually really glad that I did this. I really like looking at this. I think this is gonna be really cool and nice to have as like a screensaver, just to like remind myself of these things that are important to me. We'll see how this goes. I'll have to update you guys obviously at the end of the year, but I am quite pleased with this, and I'm about to make it my background on my computer, so. I'm also going to go ahead and set up my bullet journal for 2024. I've had so much indecision as to what I want to use as my main planning tool in 2024. I think for now I'm gonna stick with my bullet journal, but I think I may also be buying a planner just to plan more on a weekly basis, because I use my bullet journal more for like every week things. Like, I like using my bullet journal to track my habits and to just kind of get a glance at my week and to just like jot ideas down. And I think I need something a little bit more structured as well. I think especially if I want to achieve some of my goals in terms of like my content stuff, I think they'd be really helpful to have a planner. So I think I may also get a planner, but here's my bullet journal. Okay, you guys, that is all for this video. If you want to see some more of my resetting, then make sure to subscribe for the rest of this series. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful 2024. Any resolutions or goals or anything, any thoughts that you have, make sure to leave them below so that we can all talk about them together. I hope you guys have a great new year, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!